Hi everybody, welcome to the episode. Today we've got a fantastic guest for you, Nisha Joshi. Nisha has grit, persistence and respect of people she knows. I love her to bits. For me, she is my kindred spirit. And like all kindred spirits, they are precious. So let's go over to Nisha. Hi, Nisha.
Hello. Thank you so much. What a beautiful introduction.
How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm really good. So really chilled, thanks to you and Tom. I'm loving the setup here that you've got, and that was so like a really good reflection of our friendship. So thank you for capturing that.
No, it means a lot to me. I've known you for many years, many years. Yeah. And especially during the pandemic, you really emerged. You know, I recall all of the stuff you did, you know, and we'll get there and you can share with everybody, with the viewers, your journey. But to me, you are Nisha, who I will pick up my phone, I will give you the time of day, I will be there. I've got your corner. So that's how I look at you. And also, you remind me of my daughter.
Oh, that's so lovely to hear. Yeah.
Even more connection there. Yeah. I look at you and I look at my daughter. I think, there's so many similarities. So, Nisha, one of the questions I ask all of my guests is, you've got a fantastic career. Your journey is amazing. Share it with the viewers. How did you get here? What was your early career like? What was it like for you growing up? And, you know, what choices you made? You know, what made you make those choices as well? So talk us through your early career what was that like for you?
So it all started at Kingston University. I made a decision to take a vocational degree. Maybe it was because of my Indian upbringing, but I was coached in the background by my parents to say, hey, make sure you take something which is going to result in a job for you, something that you can fall back on if you later decide to do something else. And as all parents, my parents were very wise in coaching me in that sense, because I've got a lot out of that career. So I studied information systems at Kingston and then went on for many years at the formation of my career, so about 5 years or so in a business analyst role. So then started roles with consultancies, went on to one of my best jobs that was really the making of me at DHL. And then moved into project and program management roles. So DHL gave me my first flavour of what those roles actually felt like. And I always describe myself as an accidental manager and falling into that space. I later, after that, kind of, I think like a lot of people in my circle especially, got burnt out by big programs that they ran, big complex programs, and I didn't have the tools then to kind of regulate myself. I went with the flow because that's what I thought was expected of me. And so I ended up taking a year out to travel the world. I kicked it off in Las Vegas. I ended it off in Thailand. And those were some of the best experiences of my life. And then kicked off my other career for freelancing after that. And here I am.
Wow. And what was it like traveling?
Amazing.
And did you do it on your own?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
What a brave lady.
I did it on my own. I signed myself up for what was the adventure company, and that's probably evolved into something else now. But I signed myself up for lots of group trips. Yeah. One of those, my first one was actually in Nepal, where we did the Annapurna trek, and I was too cool for school, Mandy. I did not prepare for that at all. I was mid-30s thinking, you know what? I can run up the Chancery Lane escalators. I'm going to be able to do this. No worries, because I do it every day, like a little part of it every day. I managed to kid myself. And then, it was a big lesson for me in resilience, in tolerance, in listening to and understanding my own body. So yeah, the experience really shaped me and got me out of my daily professional rut that I describe it as, because you can.
Yeah.
Right? You can get yourself into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long were you travelling for? Just so that I can get more jealous.
Oh, right. Well, to make you even more jealous, like my bucket list was about this long, and now it's huge because I want to discover even more parts of the world. But I was from November 2010 and then all the way to November 2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a commitment.
It is.
Isn't it? That's a commitment. And wow, I think that's something I'm aiming for one day.
Good for you.
Do a bit more travelling. So how did you feel when you made this decision? You felt you were burnt out and, you'll talk us through that. Like how did you feel burnt out? How did you know? Like what were some of the sort of signals and triggers that made you realise?
Whole conversations would go by and I'd remember one or two details, and that was it. And I started, and from somebody who's really on the ball, who prides herself on picking up cues from my teams, really understanding the day-to-day, helping them along, doing my work at the same time as well, and moving programs along. The usual drill that goes with that, the stakeholder management, etc. And these were complex programs, and I caught myself drifting in my attention, and it happened more than once. And then I would go home, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So sleep suffered quite a lot. It was too early for me to be going through perimenopause back then. So I knew that, hold on, there's something else wrong here that needs attention. So yeah, it was focus was going. The enjoyment out of the day-to-day I could feel was going. I needed a renewed sense of purpose, if you like. That was really lacking, and I could see myself giving less on a day-to-day basis. I was like, there's something not quite right here for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's so telling the way that, different people experience this burnout. And some people just keep powering through, and to their detriment, to other people's detriment.
I did, Mandy. There's a story behind this where I was on the tube making my way home one night, and getting on, I could tell that there were niggles that I was ignoring in my back. And I couldn't get up when it came time to get to my station without really letting out a yelp in pain, and managed to get off the tube. And then even raising my leg to get on the escalators was so painful. I ended up in A&E that night. And to me, that was a big signal to say, get off this rat race, this wheel that you find yourself perpetually on. Get off it, so that you can really reset your body and reset where your mind is. You're getting to a convex point right now of everything coming together to show you. So there was a signal from life, if you like, and that's the way I took it. So that was the story. Wow. And gosh, thank goodness you took yourself out of that rat race and changed your situation. Wow. So talk us through what happened next then. So you've experienced this wonderful adventure. And you must have learnt loads then. Oh, yeah. Were there any things there that you brought back with you in terms of, using going forward? Because sometimes that's also quite a useful thing, isn't it? When we do something out of our ordinary life, which is so brilliant, like doing a traveling for a year. I mean, what sort of things did you bring back? Oh, just the need to have fun. and the need to inject fun in what you do, so that others feel a sense of upliftment about some of that work that we do. They feel the need to have that connection, the human connection, and to try and strive towards that, because it's not possible straight away. When we work with teams and leaders, you know that it's something that you have to build towards, but you have to have a certain level of openness about you to achieve that. And adventure, like embracing it just gave me a different lens on life, that there's different cultures out there to see, there's different experiences to be had. Just made me wily to the fact that work is not all that there is. So, being like the oldest child in an Indian household, you are kind of sometimes made to grow up before you're ready. So there's a lot of assumption there of responsibility. There's a lot of assumption there of, this is what you must do in order to be accepted. And on the back of that, I told myself 100 things to not convince myself to go on that year out, managed to battle that. So again, it's like letting go of those beliefs that have been formed earlier on in your life and being like just ready to embrace different things. There's more than one way to live your life. A colleague said to me once, when I was at the height of a big change in my life, and I hold on to that.
Oh, well done you. We're going to come back to more of your travel, because I've picked up on something that I would like to know more of.
Okay.
But it's interesting, the hurrying to get older,
right? And
it's that responsibility. I've done it to my kids, especially my youngest. I was a single parent most of my kids' lives, and I remember I was sat in an office. There were like 3 of us on this kind of table where we were doing our work, and they heard me talking to my daughter. I said, look, come on, you're grown up now, so you've got to act your age. You've got to do these things.
Right.
You've got to be responsible now. And I said, come on, you mustn't cry. You must do these things. Put the phone down. And my colleagues said, oh, was that your child you were speaking to your daughter? And I said, yes. They said, oh, how old is she? I said, oh, she's 3. She's only 3. But, the thing is, we kind of like just condition ourselves in, saying things that were in us. And because every parent is a parent, based on, they'll follow some of their parent attributes. They don't have a manual.
No.
And it was just I just laugh about it now, because it was just silly. And no wonder she was in a hurry to grow up. She was desperately in a hurry to grow up. So, I'm going to come back to your travel.
Okay.
So what happened with the connection of, I want to know, so you were fit and you were running up those escalators, getting into the city, doing these programs. Then you went traveling. What happened when you were climbing some of the mountains and doing some of the traveling? So what happened?
So the thing is, right, like just running up the escalators every day is not going to get you there, Nish. Like that was the penny drop when one day my knees were so painful in the middle of the trek. So we'd got to the tea house one night, and because I hadn't practiced any of the hiking or anything like that in this country, we have beautiful hikes and trails that we can go on. But did I practice any of it? Did I think I needed to? No. That's where the too cool for school comes in, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're actually walking down and minding your knees and setting the pace and stuff like that was something, I didn't even realize I had to do. So when you're, it was November time, and there were times on the trail where it was downhill
Yeah.
And there was one time where it was downhill. It was a verge, and it was very, very, very tiny in terms of the width of the path that we were on. Mm-hmm. And I can see myself, even in my mind's eye right now, just dropping and landing on my knees. Mm-hmm. And I met a lovely lady who was a journalist for the Mirror, actually, and she was out there at the same time. Anna Hodgkiss, I'm going to give a shout out to her because she was lovely on the trail, and she just about caught me so I didn't top over and seriously injure myself and have a really massive fall. So that night, I was rubbing the old Tiger Balm on the knees in the evening, and I was just about to say to our Sherpa, our chief Sherpa, you know what? I'm going to sit the rest of this out.
Okay.
You come and collect me when you come back to this tea house on the way back.
Did you have
And he was like, we're not coming back. We're taking the plane from Pokhara back to Kathmandu. We're not coming back to this tea house. So immediately I was like, right, girl, you've got to now really make sure that you get the old, when you pass because there are little kiosks that you have along the way that sell you the knee pads, that sell you the compressors and all of that to take care of your knees. And so I was like, right, you've got no choice. If you want to stay with this group and finish this and not feel like a wuss, you're going to get through it. And so, right, that night was a lot of like tough love.
Yeah.
To myself. Wow. And that's what got me through it.
Wow.
But yeah, it teaches me so much in terms of the value of preparation and understanding what you're up against when you do things like that. But yeah, there you go.
Wonderful. So Nisha, you've got so much more to share, but I'm going to go back to another thing that you mentioned, this thing about during your stressful time, you noticed how you were forgetting things or staying awake at night. One of the things that I've always said, maybe it's because I've got children, maybe it's because of that reason, because when you have children, when you have a baby, people say, if somebody gives you help, take it.
Yes.
Take the help. And on that basis, I was a business analyst. I also did that role. I said to myself, I'm not going to keep information inside of me. I'm not going to do that. So I kind of visually compartmentalized that my information would go in the cupboard under the stairs. And it's just coming to me now, actually.
Okay.
I've done that for ever and ever.
Yeah. I've
put stuff, in the cupboard under the stairs. But my mind is actually quite like that. It's quite, if it's not organised, and if I'm unable to organise things, take it like an acceptance. If I cannot accept something, if I'm aware of something, if I cannot, it's not so much get over it, it's about acceptance. It sort of comes back, it keeps coming back. Or if I open the cupboard, door under the stairs, things start falling out. So doing the coaching, going to a school, doing the coaching, learning, that's helped me a lot. Doing yoga has helped me a lot. But I still profess that not keeping so much information in my working memory is actually good for me.
Yes.
So we'll come back more to some of those things because you do executive coaching and you've got your consultancy. So then what happened when you got back from holiday? I say holiday, you got back from travelling. My daughter tells me off if any of us say to her, oh, how was your holiday? It was a work trip, Mum.
I love that. I love that.
So when you got back from travelling, and you've got this amazing this gift of insight from all of your travels, then what happened next and what sort of choices?
So then I took a few temporary jobs.
Okay.
And got myself back into the project world because I decided I wanted to be around people.
Yeah.
I decided, really that it was the case of, as you've just alluded to, me managing myself better and developing those skills within myself in order to equip myself to handle stress better, to handle complex environments better. And so I got myself into the swing of things again with a few project management roles and support roles. I wanted to give myself like an easy sort of route in. And so I did that. And then took a little break. So near where I live, there's a Buddhist monastery, and I love my like meditation habit that I developed. And it all kind of, again, it came together in my life. So the traveling happened. My meditation kind of habit and discipline got so much better. My sister and I have been taught that since childhood, but as with all things that you were shown and taught sometimes in childhood, you kind of lose a grip on it and then it comes back to you later on in life. And so I needed that then. And I brought that back into my life, and my habits and my discipline for it was getting so much more regular. So that was really helping me. So I took some time out to go to a Buddhist monastery that's near where we live, in Leighton Buzzard, and then I get back to my car to kind of pick something up, and a colleague of mine that I've known and we're friends to this day messages me and says, there's a freelance gig going here at a legal services company that I loved working at. Again, built loads of friendships there. How about you come in with us? And so my freelance gig career started.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lovely.
That's what happened.
Wow. You have got a story. You said you did. So we're still there. We're still kind of understanding your, early career, early journey, and these moments that have shaped your career. What would you say some of the early mistakes around you that may have happened that taught you? Obviously the work aspect has taught you something. The being too cool for school taught you something. Were there any other moments that, taught you something? I mean, even now, to be honest, I get taught from people who are closest to me, like my son, for example. I've shared this many a time. We had a conversation, on a phone, and he said to me, Mum, I'm really tired. I totally ignored him. I was hyper, like, I can be hyper. Totally ignored him. And he said, Mum, I can't match your energy. I'm going to have to come off the phone and we can talk another time. Yeah. So things, we make mistakes. We're human beings. Yeah. So what, anything that comes to mind that kind of has taught you, like a good teaching?
I love that. And also, like, credit to your son for and your relationship with him for being able to say that to you, Yeah. And then you made it safe for him to say. A lot of people would just carry on listening on because they think that's the right thing to do. But I love that because I say that to my parents as well. Like, Mum, Dad, I'm knackered right now. Yeah. Can I just call you later? Can we have a chat later? And they're both so lovely about it. Yeah, it's they, because me and my sister, we don't live with my parents, so they're almost they miss us being around. And when we do see them, it's like, Mum, Dad, let me tell you what happened. So do you know what I mean? And then when we sit together with them, sometimes we reflect together. I'm like, did you two not get sick of us? Try to download everything that's happened since the last month, because we try and see them every month or so. We're seeing them again tomorrow, actually. And so we're like, do you not get sick of us just coming to you and downloading everything? Like, Mum, do you know what happened? Oh yeah, and then another thing that happened. Oh yeah, Dad, and another thing that I want to tell you about. Do you not get sick of it? And I was like, no, I just love the noise around the house. I love the noise of you two. So it's just a beautiful thing. But so many things. One that's come up lately for me is just knowing, and it's kind of based on what we're talking about now. It's like you find yourself as you grow in your career, mentoring and coaching others. And we know that in the agile space, right? So you find yourself either leading a squad or leading a team, and others then that are encouraged to step up as well. And they might not be as far in their careers as you are. And what I'm learning it's enforcing it in me, is giving others the space to lead. See, respecting their own agency as well as they grow. Because right now I'm on a gig at Tesco, and I'm working with a team and getting them used to some agile practices for, you know, an initiative that's happening within Tesco at the moment. And they don't have software development backgrounds. We're using agile in a space that's not traditionally software development, but the work that they're doing needs to happen in iterations, and it's getting them used to the rhythm, the pattern, and also stepping back and knowing when to step back to give them the space to lead. So that's what I'm learning at the moment, and it's lovely. It's just such a lovely experience. I get a buzz out of it, knowing that something's stuck. You know, and seeing them practice it and seeing them go, oh, I know why you do this now. I get it. Yeah.
That's an interesting one. The space is really interesting, isn't it? I think not only that, the feedback. There was a product owner years ago who I met and wanted me to join their team and help their team with, you know, using Scrum. He said, oh, you know all these things. Come and help our team. Yeah. And one of the things that I noticed was, I didn't even notice it because I heard it. He said it to me. He said, Mandy, can you stop using all these words? I don't know what they mean. So I learned then that actually saying things like ceremonies or events, or even using the word agile, just remove it. There's no benefit if the organisation is not actually promoting it. Don't use it, because it just it alienates people. You know, we're trying to connect, and we're trying to help people with you know, the kind of puzzlement that they're in to find something. So the space thing is wonderful.
And you touched on something so nice there. Like, so, you know, when we've got methods that we are practiced in, but nowadays it can be, agile itself as a method can be a loaded word, mainly because and it's a big assumption to even mention or put labels onto certain things sometimes, because you don't know of other people's experiences, right? 100%. That they have had with it, or somebody that has claimed to know how to practice it, but maybe the outcomes that that have resulted out of it haven't been what's expected, or, you know, people's expectations haven't been met. And so, I find that exactly as you said, you've got to apply it to whatever context you are in and make them feel like they've got agency in saying it's useful, it's not useful. I can take this part of it. This is what we can apply, and maybe other bits are not so useful for the rhythm and the context that we are working in. So I love that you said that.
Oh, bless you. So basically you came back from traveling, you took some temporary roles, then you took some, then you had the great opportunity of landing your gig, and then you kind of like continued with this journey. So take us through then how, where are you? And because, I can't not mention it again. During the pandemic, you were like the voice on LinkedIn. I was just like, I love this lady.
So this is really interesting. Yeah. You couldn't meet someone more introverted than me.
Shut up.
Yeah, I will tell you this. If you leave me in a room with all of my little favourite snacks and foods and a few books. I love a good murder, by the way. So if you're looking for Christmas prezzies, you know what to get me. And Tom, don't cut that, phrase out. I love a good murder and make something of it. Yeah, I'm watching you. So
stop it. You're going to scare the poor lad.
Bless him. So yeah, I would stay in that room quite happily for 2 weeks if I had all my comforts and not speak to a soul.
Hello, sister.
Right. So that's it. And COVID came about, And I just finished a gig at Adobe and come back from holiday. And an unfortunate thing happened at home, actually. I fell down the stairs, fractured one ankle and sprained another. I don't do things by halves. And so I was running after my dad's birthday cake was being delivered. And I was running after the courier. And that's what happened. And so anyway, I spent some of COVID healing from that and just watching what was happening on the online spaces. LinkedIn, I was monitoring. And again, because I'm an introvert, I have had serious hang-ups about reaching out to people on LinkedIn, putting things out on LinkedIn, was so scared about how I would be perceived, and got involved to push myself. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this same thing playing in my head. I'm going to need a job. I'm going to need to get to know what the market's like soon. I'm healing up and going for my runs again. I can do this. And I was like, okay, so you don't have to just go out there and start posting at random. You can have a purpose behind it. And so I got involved with the Furlough Initiative that Gary Wills headed.
Yeah.
And that was all about getting people that were furloughed back into work, getting their confidence up, giving them the skills that they needed to have. And it was about getting interesting speakers on board through one of our team members, Nicole, and myself and Sharon, who you know from the Delivery Space podcast.
Your podcast.
Right? So, and what we were doing was we were writing blogs, putting out polls, getting our website up with Gary in the background and stuff. And that got me used to putting content out, running campaigns for Furlough and getting people really interested in the webinars that we had to offer. And so that is really what started it. And so in that process, you get to know each other in the Furlough team, don't you? And you get to realise, actually, oh, you're from a project management background. I used to work in that background. I now work in the agile space. And that's how Sharon and I connected. And we got so tired of the narrative out there of PMOs and project managers not working well with the agile folk in the industry. We clicked straight off because we were noticing team patterns, leadership patterns and what have you. And we decided to create a podcast to bring real experiences of delivery back, just like you're doing for life and life experiences. We did that specifically for delivery.
Yes, you did. Yeah. And let's not shy away from the numbers and the statistics.
Oh, well,
come on.
If you're going to bring them up. It's not massive because our area is a niche area.
So recorded. How many have you recorded? It's over 100.
Probably, definitely over 100. I haven't counted recently, but it's definitely over 100. We kept going. We've been doing it for 4 years now.
No mean feat.
No.
Niche.
No.
Congratulations.
Thank you
for that. And I have to say, actually, your influence on me has been great. I remember when you first approached me and said, oh, come on the podcast. And I was too shy. And I thought, I've got nothing to talk about. What am I going to talk about? And, I'm an empty vessel.
You're so not.
And I make a lot of noise.
You're so not.
But it's weird. It's weird how... And I just kept thinking, and then you didn't stop. You no. Every now and then, like, come on the podcast, Mandy.
Yeah.
So I did, and and then I went on to Jack's, and then I went on to another podcast, and I think it's fear that holds us back. It's this, I don't know, like, it is fear. For me, it was, well, I just thought I've got nothing to share. So that was my belief. Can you talk about, is there anything that has held you back and you've conquered? We know the climbing, the travelling, the mountain. Anything else? Any other kind of belief that is actually no longer a belief? We can come back to that.
Yeah, I love that.
We can come back to that. Let's bring a 60-second fun question.
All right. Oh, I like this. A little break.
Little break.
Yeah, go on.
Now, what are you terrible at?
Oh.
And secretly actually enjoy?
What am I terrible at and secretly actually enjoy? Doodling.
well.
Yeah. I draw lots.
Yeah.
I'm one of these people that can listen, but I tune in more to what you're saying if I've got a pen in my hand and I'm just doodling. But if you look at my doodles, they are something terrible. Yeah, they're not that great. You'll be like, Nish, what were you thinking? Were you tripping on something there? But yeah, it's doodling. And I wish I could draw better. And maybe that's something at one point to pursue. But yeah.
Oh, Vocablo.
Yes.
Charles Louis Vocablo.
I know. I've been on at Charles Louis it's on my list. It's one of those things that, funds pending, I will definitely organise because I need to, there's that barrier that I need to break for sure.
Lovely stuff. Thank you for sharing that.
Not at all.
So we've got to your, so now currently what do you do? What's your current industry now? Because you've changed so much. You know, from your early days to, you know, you're a business venture. You know, you are a business venture as well as being, you know, an adventurer. Yeah. But you are. So, and you're blogging. Yeah. You're doing consultancy work. And so, so what do you want to share about your current position, your industry? Like, what is it that you feel that people should really know about? And I don't know, offerings.
I love that. Okay. So I'm an agility coach. I work both at executive and at team level. I as you know, I love working with people. It's something that I get out of bed for. So, I pride myself being able to communicate at all levels. One gap, and here's a shameless plug, and I know you've been on this workshop that I've held. One gap I do see is the lack of attention given to culture and how culture needs to evolve to support delivery. So you can then carry on putting out products out there that your customers love. And at the moment, I'm seeing great results from this workshop that I've put in place. And the workshop is designed to remove culture leaks in an organisation and for us to work with visual aids and work with teams to do more in-depth work. So you're not just asking them in a team survey, hey, how do you feel about our mission and our values, and getting some on the surface responses to it. And really not being able to speak to people at all levels within an organisation to look at day to day and how they work. What are our norms? What do we understand about our priorities that we should be focusing on? How do we feel about how we collaborate together? And then capturing those data points that we need. In fact, Charles Louis, I was invited, my first kind of evolution of this workshop that I've put together for a company was tested on Global Loans Agency. So it was a gig I got, again, as a freelancer, a year and a half ago, and the CEO asked me to do some culture work for the organisation because it was growing. It was grown from 13 people who had founded it to 300, and she was like, "What?" This CEO is someone who's I have a lot of respect for. She single-handedly has evolved the organisation and continues to do it. She champions women in leadership and women in tech. Her name's Mia Drennan. So Mia invited me to help bring people together across 5 continents. We had to do it virtually. So my facilitation format had to be great. And so I had an idea and I asked Charles Louis to mentor me to make sure that I was working through it in a way that was thoughtful, but also allowed people's voices to be heard through it as well. So I'm really proud of that piece of work that I did for Glass. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So yeah, that's what I offer.
And Nisha, let the viewers know, you know, how can they get hold of you with your offering? You know, do you have a website or, you know, what's the means?
Yes. So the website is coming. If you'd like any sort of cultural work, cultural insight work done with your teams or your leadership, I have a proven way of being able to facilitate those conversations.
Brilliant. And we'll share all your details on
LinkedIn.
Podcasts, so your LinkedIn and your email address as well.
Yes.
So whatever you say, we'll share those.
Thank you.
On the
Thank
podcast.
You. Yeah, LinkedIn is the best way to contact me.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Wow. What a journey and what an inspiration you are. Admitting you're an introvert, which is hard to believe, but you have got this amazing energy.
Oh, thank
you. There's like I said, I feel like you are a kindred spirit.
Yeah.
You're just a wonderful person in terms of how you are. You listen. You are heard. You are respected, you are known amongst our community, and people speak very highly of you, and there's a reason for that. You have high value qualities and you demonstrate those. So it's wonderful. And I'm sitting here with you and
thank you so much for that. That's lovely. I feel the same way about you, Mandy.
Oh,
thank
bless you. So we're getting closer to the end of the podcast, and I just feel like it's not enough. I've got so many questions to ask.
I could go on forever. We have to do a part 2.
We're going to have to. Yeah. We are, because there's more to come.
There's so much more.
You've got, is there anything? Can you you've already kind of taken us through like your big decision.
Yes.
The traveling was a huge decision.
Yes.
Tell us about, if I may share.
Go on.
Because it really threw me when I had this conversation with you about the flooding.
Oh, in my house.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How did you handle that? What?
Yeah, so this is stuff of nightmares, honey. We woke up, it was like, I don't know, 5:30, 5:45 one Sunday morning, and my sister just comes running into my room, and so early in the morning, and we usually get up early. We're early risers anyway because we meditate early, but this was like too early on a Sunday morning, and she was like, there's something happening downstairs and I don't know what it is. Now, when you hear that, at that time, what do you think? Your mind immediately goes to, oh no, there's an intruder or something like that's happening, right?
I would, yeah.
And I said, well, what did you hear? Hang on, I'll just grab my robe and we'll go downstairs together. No, does she hang on? Yeah, well, does she hang on? No. She goes downstairs and she stops like 2 or 3 steps from the bottom of the stairs, and she sees our hall room furniture sort of like floating.
Oh no.
Right. So it was a bit of a nightmare. And then what followed was obviously what you have with the repairs and the insurance and things like that. So that we're lucky because our home is we have a townhouse set up. Okay. So we're pretty much living on the top 2 floors on food packages from Mother. Over like 6 months until we got it all done. But that is what inspired the Culture Leaks workshop that you came to.
Because that's actually the leaks.
Yeah, it was the leaks. It was the leaks. That is what inspired my offering for the culture workshops. Because there's an olive joint, right, where that connects your pipes to the mains. And it's that olive joint that can give way without giving you any sort of, hey, I'm going to wear out soon, replace me type of warning.
Wow.
And that's what weared out. And that's what gave me that, hold on a minute. Isn't this really what happens in culture? Culture wears down when you don't keep tabs on how people are collaborating, how decisions are made, how things are communicated. And these things are leaking all the time. So it's
wonderful.
Right?
Yeah. It's wonderful that you've used adversity like that into helping to change something that's a big... it's a massive dysfunction in society anyway right now. I mean, it's... well, Nisha, I've got to say, you are a leader.
Thank you.
And you are an inspiration. And I can't wait to have you back on or come on your show.
Yes.
Whatever happens.
Let's do it. Yes.
Thank you so much, darling.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed this very rapid session. Did it feel like that? It felt like that for me. It's like we've just travelled so quickly through this episode. What a beautiful lady. Please subscribe, like, share, and give us feedback if you want to. Thank you so much, and see you on the next one.